Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. It is morning where I live. It might be good afternoon, it might be good night to you, but wherever you are in the world, I believe it's Mother's Day. And I wanted to come on today on a Sunday because it's Mother's Day, and oftentimes mothers are forgotten. It seems that mothers have a very, very important role. Oh, by the way, my name is Linda. If you don't know me, my name is Linda G. Robert. I'm broadcasting right now on 3 different platforms: on Facebook Business, on my great group for women, and on YouTube as well. So I want to talk a little bit about Mother's Day and the role of mothers, how sometimes we forget the important role of mothers. And then I want to do a couple of readings from an article, 2 articles actually that I wrote. So I'm just thinking of how sometimes our role is forgotten. When I have 2 children, and my kids lived with me for the longest time, but there's a lot of mothers who have children who, for whatever reason, don't live with them. And I'm talking about when they're young, whether we give our children up for adoption or for whatever reason we're not able to take care of them and other family members take care of them. There's so many different reasons. We are still mothers, right? No matter the circumstances of our life, now and in the past, we're mothers. And today is a day to celebrate that. Today's a day to celebrate that. It's a deep and emotional day for me, especially right now, because I'm thinking of all the years that I've been a mother, and that all the years that I've had with my children on this particular day has always been a very, very special day. I remember years ago when my kids were little, I would get cards, and I was going through my cards just a few minutes ago, and I found this one. And in it, this is from my son Dan. In it has his name, his height, his his uh, his weight, his favorite colors, favorite song, his favorite sport, and it was Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I'm just going to show you the cover again. So, this was done years ago, right? And I'm so glad that I kept these cards. Thank you, Superior 7. Thank you. I hope that you wish your mother a happy Mother's Day. So, I've kept these cards, and I don't normally keep those kind of things. I don't normally keep sentimental things. But I'm really glad that I did, because I hadn't seen that card for so long, and I was going through things a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed these cards, and I noticed other things like my some Merry Christmas cards, back from 91, and cards like this, and it's like, oh my God. Oh, anyways, it just makes me feel really emotional. So Mother's Day is a very special day, and even if you don't have children with you right now, know that your role has always been an important one. Sometimes we don't have kids living with us, but we are mothering other children for whatever reason. Our mother role isn't always natural, I guess you could say. Sometimes it's an instinct, but for some of us, it isn't an instinct. For some of us, we have to work a little harder at becoming a mother or at being a mother. I know that when I was a young mother, it certainly wasn't that natural to me. I had a difficult time, but my role changed over the years, which I think is fascinating when it comes to this role that we have when we give birth, or even when we don't give birth, when we adopt a child, or for whatever reason inherit a child. So it's very interesting role. So whatever you're doing today, Have a great Mother's Day. Now, I want to spend just a bit of time reading two articles from my booklet called Making Sense of It All, Articles for Women Recovering from Divorce. And you can access this on my site if you'd like at divorce.ca. But these two articles were written in 2006. And the reason I'm reading these is because it's related to being a mother. And the first one is called I Am a Mother. And it goes like this. Mother's Day is coming up again on May 13th. Last year at this time, I was inspired to write about my own mother, and I'll be reading that article in just 1 minute. So I was inspired to read an article about my own mother. This year, I'm choosing to write about me. I am a mother. I am a mother to two young men, Dan, 23, and Rob, 25. In the last 2 years, my mothering has changed dramatically. A few years ago, the selling of my house caused an immediate empty nest syndrome. Gone were the days of driving the kids to soccer, to baseball, to hockey. Gone were the days of dealing with temper tantrums, frustrations, paying for the kids' poor decisions. Gone were the days of school concerts, chaperoning, homework. And here were the days of quietness, guilt, loneliness, and abandonment issues. I went through hell the first year, especially when my son got really sick and ended up in trouble with the law. And I felt horribly guilty. I thought that if I hadn't moved and sold our house, that he wouldn't have gotten sick and be in jail. And when my other son started spending more time with a substitute mom, his friend, I felt totally abandoned. I wasn't used to not having them around. They had always been there with me and for me, I guess you could say, and I for them. Now they were no longer there, neither with me nor for me, and it was extremely difficult. The crying, the anger, the guilt killed me for a while, and then I slowly started accepting the change. My role as a mother had changed considerably, and it took me some time to get used to it. I was no longer the only responsible one, the one taking care of my kids. There were others doing it now, the nurses and their dad and other significant people. Yes, I found it difficult, but I realized eventually that my children needed others to take care of them, to be there for them. I'm just going to raise my page. To be there for them, that they were older now and that they had their own lives to lead despite the circumstances. I realized that my kids were going to be okay despite how I felt. Now, 1 year and a half later, my kids are doing the best they can. They are safe, well adjusted despite certain circumstances, happy, been taken care of and loved by more than just me. And that makes them pretty awesome. I know that I contributed to that. I was a big part of their life and still am. I'm a different mom now. I'm a better mom now. Okay, I share my wisdom with them and they listen. Well, most of the time they listen. And I'll always be there for them and they'll always be my children. I'll always be a mom. And it's a role that I'm happy to say that I choose to keep for the rest of my life. And I also added an update because that was written in 2006. The update was written actually a couple of years ago. Update. My children are in their late 30s now, and my younger one is the dad of two really cute girls, my granddaughters. While my eldest continues to have mental health challenges, overall he's stable and healthy. They both call me every now and then for great conversations. They both tell me things they remember from their youth. Some things I had no clue about and perhaps didn't really need to know. But overall, we have a great relationship. And now I no longer feel guilty for things that happened in the past. It took a lot of hard work to get there. So this is an interesting article. I wrote that many years ago, and it's interesting now when I read it again to see the progress that has happened since then. You know, my role has still changed, and our roles as mothers will change every now and then, depending on what's happening in our kids' lives. So it means that sometimes we're more on duty than other times. So now I want to read an article that I wrote about my mother the year prior to the last article. Now, this article here, when I read it yesterday for my podcast, I started tearing up. So you just never know how it's going to affect me. My mother. On this day, I woke up thinking of my mother, the mother that I once hated when I was a young girl, the mother that I once divorced when I was a young mother, and a young woman. The mother that I cared for during 7 years when she couldn't take care of herself anymore. And now the mother that lives at the extended care and whose heart beats fast every time I visit because she recognizes me, her daughter. My relationship with my mother wasn't always a sound relationship and will never be. I divorced my mother many years ago because of her drinking and her emotional and verbal abuse. She will never be the mother I longed for when I needed to be cared for, comforted, and kept away from strangers and not so strangers. She will never be the mother I needed advice from when I married a man who was abusive to me and remarried for the second time and the third time to men that were not right for me. She will never be the mother that I needed when I struggled raising my children as a single parent while attending school full time and working crazy shifts at a psychiatric hospital. She may not have been the mother that I needed or wanted during those challenging times in my life, but she will always be the mother that gave birth to my spirit and the mother that I needed to learn certain life lessons. She will be the mother I remember as enjoying dancing and singing when I took her out to local country dances. She absolutely loved dancing with me, and her face lit up like a candle when she was. Just going to move my page a bit. She absolutely loved dancing with me, and her face lit up like I'm sure it did at some other happy moment in her life. She will always be the mother that my aunt remembers as loving to have fun and making everyone laugh. You remind me of your mother, Aunt Jean had said to me several times. I grew up scared to death of becoming my mother, the drinking, emotionally abusive mother that I knew as a child and as a young woman. Instead, I grew up to be my fun, loving, dancing like no one is watching, and singing like there's no tomorrow mother that everyone else knew. Just for today, I remember that our mums are not perfect. They're not perfect beings. Sometimes they go through their most difficult times with us as children still living at home. And once they mature and we're out of the house, they continue to grow, to learn, and to change. Some mothers are blessed with many gifts. Some mothers are blessed with many gifts and are blessed with simply being alive. Whatever the case, remember that your mother is a special being with her special gifts. And although she may not have directly shared her gifts with you, they are yours for being her son and her daughter. Thank you, Mom, for that. Thank your mom for that. Not just on a special day, but as often as you can. So this is taken from my booklet. My booklet is called Making Sense of It All, Articles for Women Recovering from Divorce. So today, on Mother's Day, Wherever you are and with whoever you are, you might be by yourself. Know that you are special. If you are a mother, you're special. If you're not a mother, you are still special because you're the son or you're the daughter of a mother who loves you very, very much. Have a great Mother's Day, everybody. This is Linda G. Robert. You're back in the groove again, coach, helping you live your best life now so you can love what you do. I'm a bit emotional right now, but I'm still here to help you live your best life now. Bye and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy Mother's Day.